At 3 a.m., the darkness vanishes. When you look outside, the sky is alive. Green and crimson waves stretch across the horizon, bright enough to turn night into dawn. Nobody knows it yet, but the event unfolding above their heads is already reaching the systems below. Your phone has no signal, and across the city, lights begin to disappear, one by one. By sunrise, millions of people could find themselves disconnected from the modern world. Modern civilization depends on systems most people never think about, until they stop. An event like this would not destroy cities in a spectacular explosion. It would simply turn those systems silent. At first, the disruption might feel manageable. Digital networks freeze, your money still exists, but it is locked behind systems that can no longer respond. Fuel pumps stop, communication becomes unreliable. Inside supermarkets, the food is still there, but the registers are blind. Refrigeration begins to fail, and deliveries start to slow. Then the pressure begins to build. When people can no longer access essentials, behavior changes. Food and medicine stop being ordinary products. They become necessities. Transport begins to struggle, and when movement slows, everything behind it begins to suffer. Eventually, the consequences reach the places where failure hurts most. Hospitals switch to backup generators. What begins as a temporary precaution quickly becomes a countdown, measured in fuel, critical equipment, and time. Some regions might recover quickly. Others could remain disconnected for days, and in that uncertainty, fear spreads faster than the outage itself. People stop thinking about convenience. They start thinking about survival. The trigger for this chaos is an extreme solar storm. Scientists call storms like this Carrington Events. And to understand the danger we face today, we have to look back to the moment humanity was hit by one, completely unprepared. It happened on September 1st, 1859. Back then, the world didn't rely on satellites or massive power grids. Humanity's most advanced communication system was the telegraph, a web of copper wires across continents. Without warning, the wires went wild. All across Europe and North America, operators were hit by violent electric shocks. Sparks jumped from the equipment. In several stations, the telegraph paper burst into flames. But the strangest part? Even after operators cut the batteries, messages kept moving. They were being fueled by the storm itself. For the average person, it was just an eerie spectacle. Auroras stretched far beyond the poles, lighting the night sky so brightly that birds began to sing in the middle of the night. But one man saw the true origin of the chaos. English astronomer Richard Carrington was watching the sun from a small private observatory south of London when a sudden, blinding flash erupted from its surface. It was the first solar flare ever recorded. At the time, no one understood the invisible force that had just struck Earth. In reality, the sun is a violent star, constantly building and releasing enormous magnetic energy. Sometimes that energy snaps free, launching a massive cloud of charged plasma into space at millions of kilometers per hour. Scientists call this a coronal mass ejection. The sun produces eruptions like this regularly, but Earth is a tiny moving target. For a storm like the Carrington event to happen, the eruption has to be powerful enough, and it has to be aimed directly at Earth. That makes these events rare, but not impossible. The first systems to feel that impact would be above our heads. Modern communication, GPS, and global coordination depend on satellites. A powerful solar storm could damage or disable many of them within hours. Aircraft lose critical navigation support. Cargo ships crossing oceans lose reliable navigation. Modern power grid transmission lines behave exactly like the telegraph wires of 1859, just on a vastly larger scale. They act like giant antennas, pulling dangerous electrical currents directly into transformers and substations. These systems cannot simply be replaced. Some large transformers take months, or even years, to manufacture. The danger is not only that they fail, it is how long they take to return. But unlike the people of 1859, we would not be caught completely blind. Today, satellites watch the sun constantly. They track flares, eruptions, and storms long before they ever reach Earth. That warning could give us precious hours, enough time to shield our satellites, enough time to prepare our power grids, enough time to prevent the worst. But warning is not immunity. The lesson of 1859 is not that the world will end. It is that the modern world does not need to be physically destroyed to fall apart. It only needs to be interrupted. Because sometimes the greatest threat does not arrive as fire, flood, or war. Sometimes it arrives as a beautiful, silent light in the sky. And by the time the sky begins to glow, the impact has already begun.